Your feet, all my broken pieces, every load that's carried at your feet, all my broken pieces, every load that's carried.
My name is Candace Blanks, and I'm talking to those people who have been afflicted, abused, rejected, feeling unloved, or just simply gone through life and don't have a way out. Or maybe you have been diagnosed with an illness. Well, I'm here to tell you that God is here for us, and He is healing the broken. So please tune in to Healing for the Broken as various people tell and share their heart and testimony. Welcome to Healing for the Broken, where I'm your host, Candace Blanks. And on today's show, we have Miss Tiffiny Beard, who's the author of her book, Accepting an Apology That You'll Never Receive. You're in for a treat today. We'll be right back.
Your feet, all my broken pieces, every load that's carried.
How will you feel when you know that someone is praying and interceding for you every day? That is how we hold our partners with high esteem, standing in the gap and praying for you without season. NDTV is God's plan to transform lives and help people to get their freedom from every form of oppression, walk in victory, discover their original destiny and the plan of God for them. Together, we can do far more than any of us could ever do alone. Become a partner today by visiting www.ndtvn.com/partnership, and you will be glad you did.
This network has been a blessing to you. Why not follow us on Facebook and Instagram at NDTV Network? Subscribe to our YouTube channel New Dimension TV. Or watch us live at www.ndtvn.com. For partnership, prayers, and sponsorship, call 833-777-NDTV. Email info@ndtvn.com. Everywhere, changing lives.
Welcome, Miss Tiffiny. Thank you for coming on Healing for the Broken.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited because this book right here, Accepting an Apology That You Would Never Receive, you're gonna have to tell us more about it. Like why the title is very intriguing. Tell us more about it.
Well, basically, how the book came about was, it came about in many different steps, unbeknownst to me that it was going to actually become a book. It had to do with, I was molested as a child, and I had to, deal with that for, many years. So, maybe some 7-8 years ago, I was in church, and the person that molested me came to church, even though I had seen him previously before and whatnot, because he was a family member and I've seen him, but I had found out that he had did some other things to someone else in the family. So when he came to church that day, I don't know, I just felt some kind of way, and I was told I was trying to leave, and the minister's wife wouldn't let me leave, and I said, I need to leave, and she's like, you need to stay. And I was like, no, because I'm a terror for this church. And she was like, no, you're stronger than that. I said, God hasn't made me that strong. I'm still trying to deal with this. And the pastor came, and his wife came, and he took me in the office, and I told him what happened, and I cried, and he said, well, you know, how are you going to deal with this? Because you may never get that apology.
Wow.
And I had to think about it, like, you're right. And that's where I left that conversation there, to try to do my own self-healing, whatnot. But then fast forward to maybe earlier part of last year, I called a friend of mine to talk about editing my dissertation. And as we were talking about the dissertation and what I was going to actually do my dissertation on, we started just getting into a personal conversation about my life and different things. And it came about, that title came up again. Wow. And he said, won't you just, maybe you need to write about that. And I said, no, I want to write a book about my life story after I finish my doctorate. And he's like, okay, well, just let me know. And then I called him back. And I said, I think I'm going to write this book. What do I need to do? And so he gave me some ideas. But when I sat down, his ideas didn't work for me. So I just had to just write it. So it took me probably about a week to write that book.
A week to write the book?
Yes.
Wow. You was like, listen, God, whatever it is, I'm just going to pour it out. And it took you only a week to write it?
Well, I was trying to write it, and I couldn't write it.
Wow.
I kept knowing what I wanted to say, but I was not able to put it on paper. And I was driving to my daughter's house one day, and I prayed to God. I was like, God, I don't know why I'm not able to put this on paper when I know what I want to say. Mm-hmm. So I was driving to my daughter's, and it just hit me. You want somebody to apologize to you, but who do you need to apologize to?
Ooh, wow.
And I was like, oh no, God, I don't need to apologize to nobody. I'm good. But I was like, I have to think about that. Wow. So I had to make some very hard phone calls to some people and apologize to them. Number one, that I apologized to the person who molested me. I apologized to him. I apologized to him for even though he is a family member, to not giving him the respect of being my uncle, of always having something bad and negative to say about him, always holding ill will and grudges against him. That's what I called to apologize to him about my part. That.
Oh wow! A lot of people are watching, and a lot of people have been hurt by family members. They are the victim. They say, hey, no, they need to apologize to me first. What you mean apologize to them? You said God was like, listen, who do you need to apologize for? Because a lot of times people, they want to be the victim. They want to be entitled, for that apology. But God said, no, I need you to do what I want you to do at that time. Yes. And you apologize to those people you need to apologize to. And they kind of opened up a door. So there's a lot of people watching like, I don't know if I can make that apology. I didn't do anything wrong. What do you say about that? Those kind of feelings.
It's like, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, when I was in my pits with, different lifestyles and, missing different parts of my daughter's life and whatnot. My daughter was, upset and angry about it. And when she would tell me about that, I would be on the defensive all the time. Like, no, you shouldn't be mad about this because I did this or whatever. But I had to think about, over the years, I had to realize, wait, those are her feelings. Wow. Those are her thoughts. That's how she perceived it. That's how her life is. I can't be mad at her or justify her feelings. So I have, people, to answer your question, that, we sit back and we do want people to apologize, but we don't, we feel like we ain't did nothing. Now my life, I don't feel like I did anything to my uncle. I didn't do anything inappropriate to him. He did something inappropriate to me. So people will say, well, you don't have no reason to apologize. And I don't have any reason to apologize for that situation. But what I do have to apologize for is over the years being disrespectful and whatnot, because, yeah, you did wrong, but you are my uncle, and I still owe you the fact that you are my uncle, but I'm apologizing for my part for not saying that. I don't have to, if somebody bring your name up, I don't have to disgrace your name. I don't have to do anything. That's not for me. The Bible say, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So I let the Lord deal with that. I don't have to do that. So that's why I had to let that go, because I have been carrying that for years, and I have to let that, go. And I've been,
Amen.
I have a cousin that, she's, was kind of, and I write about her in the book, and she's still kind of holding on to it, and I just want her, we got into this disagreement because I said, it's time to let it go. She's like, you just can't tell me to let it go. I said, well, I'm not trying to just tell you to just let it go. I'm saying you need to be at a point now, we need to be able to deal with it. You need to take that to God, to take that from you, because it's holding you in bondage. And we go around, and I have like 11 chapters in the book of different family members, friends, jobs, that we're just so mad and holding stuff in bondage. It's affecting our life.
It is. It really is, because a lot of times people don't understand that when you hold on to all that hatred and animosity and grudges and I can't forgive anybody, you're putting yourself in a pathway to get sick. You're putting yourself in a pathway to have unforgiveness. You're putting yourself in a pathway to have so many different types of things, and allowing the devil to come in and send his demons in to you, and you wonder why you act this way, why your children acting this way. That's because you're opening up yourself and your spirit, man, to all of those demonic activities because of hatred and animosity. And the thing is, the devil comes seeking whom he can devour. And if you're allowing the devil to come in because of something that has hurt you, yes, it's painful, but God says to forgive so that your heavenly Father can forgive you. And so yes, you have to, I understand that everybody grieves differently, but at the same time you have to be at a point where you have to let it go. And you have to give it to God. And so, oh my goodness, I'm so excited, and I'm definitely going to get more into your testimony about the pits. And you talked about the pits a little bit, and I'm ready to hear that. And we'll be right back after this message as Tiffany will come back talking to us about the pits of life.
Are you looking for a professional, affordable and reliable video coverage for your event? Then, talk to us today at NDTV. Our production team are on ground 24 hours for your corporate and church events.
With our modern equipment and unbeatable online presence,
we can live streaming your event on every social media platform to give you maximum audience and worldwide publicity.
Contact us for your next event and receive 50% discount. Call +1 833 NDTV. Visit www.ndtvn.com. Email us, events@ndtvn.com.
We can also handle all your video production projects, including gospel music video production and editing.
Call +1 833 NDTV. Visit www.ndtvn.com. Quality, professional, and customer satisfaction guaranteed.
Your feet, all my broken pieces, every load that's carried.
Welcome back to Healing for the Broken, where I'm your host, Candace Blanks, and we have Miss Tiffany Beard here, who's going to talk to us more about the pits of life that she says that she's been in.
Yes, I have pits. People, when they look at me, and I thank God that they don't see what I've been through.
Wow.
I said I was like Joseph in the Bible.
You did.
Where Joseph went from the pit to prison to the palace. Those things happened in Joseph's life, and he didn't do anything to deserve the things that happened to him. Yeah. In my case, my pits, I did all of those things. Even my 5 trips that I took to prison, as an inmate, I did those things. And I was caught up in pits. you know, different type of pits. Basically, the pits that are, you know, in my book. Those, you know, those are the different pits that I dealt with. Having to be, you know, molested as a child and dealing with that. Then at 11, 12 years old, I was 6 feet tall, so I'm taller than all the boys, all the girls, half the teachers. So that's a whole nother pit that I'm dealing with, you know, and just life in general, you know, not knowing what I want, who I can I can trust or whatnot, and just got caught up in that fast life.
Wow.
Just got caught up in that fast life, you know, the fast money, doing all kind of things that I look back over my life now, and I'm like, man, I was out of it.
So how old were you at this time when all of this fast life was going on? Because I know, how old were you when you were molested leading into...
I was about 9 when I was molested. I was about 9 years old, and you know, and looking back now to say thank God that I had an outlet, because not trying to minimize the situation, it was just a one-time situation that I was able to get out of.
Amen.
And if it wasn't for my grandfather, I probably would not have. Like so many other people have been through years of it. You know, my situation so much wasn't the sexual abuse that happened. It was the years afterwards where people didn't believe me. All of a sudden I'm this liar. Nobody believes nothing I say. And I think some of that had to do with some of the choices I made, you know, and some of the decisions I made in life. I had a child at 16 years old, you know. So I think a lot of that led up to it. You know, I had another child, got married, had my son. I have a daughter. My oldest is a daughter. I had a son. And what really got me into that life was my ex-husband. I don't know, he decided he didn't want to be a family no more. I was pregnant when he left to go overseas with my son. He came back, we were having problems. And we went to church, and you know, he cried out. It was like, I'm trying to save my marriage and my family. And we had a double baptismal. We both went under at the same time, and I was pregnant with my son. And then about 3 weeks after that, he told me he didn't want to be married anymore. So I didn't understand that. So I was like, okay, just stuff. I know the people next door. I knew they did something illegal. I just didn't know what they did illegal. So I was just at my wits' end with bills, and I went and knocked on their door, and I asked them, I know you do something, I don't know what you do, but I need some help because I got to make sure I feed my babies.
Wow.
And the lady just looked at me for a long time, and she said, come in. And then from there, I just went on the road of just doing criminal addictive excitement, so to speak.
So the devil just came into your life real quick, real fast. Mm-hmm. Like, it went from the promiscuity of when you were younger, being molested, and leading up to being a teen mom. And then it's like, hey, listen, I'm just gonna, whatever y'all doing, I want to be part of that. And it just went down the road.
Yeah, the devil was like busy. In between that, when I had my daughter, before I had my son, I was frustrated with life. I think I was about 18 or 19. I was a young mother. You know, things weren't good with my mom. I didn't know school wasn't good. Life wasn't good. And I said to myself, I just can't deal with life anymore. And I talk about that in the book as well, where I just wanted to end it. I just wanted to leave the earth. And I took my daughter to San Antonio with my grandparents. And I said, I'm going to just kill myself. I'm going to leave my daughter with my grandchildren, with my grandmother, because I know my grandparents are going to take care of her and she's going to be all right. And I don't know. I didn't know what I was going to do or how I was going to do it, but I was just going to kill myself, right? So when I was packing my backpack and I was crying because I'm like, I'm going to leave my baby. I think she was about 2. And was in my grandparents' house, and I was just gonna leave. Tell my grandmother I'll be back, and I wasn't never gonna come back.
Wow.
And my daughter came in the room, and she said, "Mommy, look." And I'm like, I don't want to look, man. She's like, look. So I looked, and it wasn't anything. It was just a blank piece of paper. And she just wanted me to look at this blank piece of paper. I don't know what intrigued her about it, but looking back on it years later, it was God. that wanted her to get my attention and say, hey, Mom, stay here. And I'm glad I didn't, because, you know, my baby is the apple of my eye. You know, I have my son.
God.
So, you know, I went through that. Then there was another time I wanted to kill myself, you know, but God always provided a way out. He says that in His Word. He gonna provide a way out. And He did, but, you know, even though He was providing those ways, I still was caught up in them pits. I still was caught up. Started going to prison, get out of prison, do the same thing over, expecting different results. Go to prison, get out, do the same thing over, expecting different results. You know, still just doing what I felt like I just wanted to do, even though I felt like I was doing it for the right reasons. Yes, my children had a nice home. Yes, my children had all the things that they wanted and needed, but they didn't have me, especially the times when I was in prison. And if anybody, you know, any mother can say, hey, ain't nobody gonna take care of your children the way that you would.
Wow.
So, you know, I missed a lot with my children going in and out of prison and whatnot. So, yeah.
I have a question for you because, you know, I think a lot of times when children are molested by anyone and they tell their parents and their family about what has happened to them, a lot of times they get the rejection of, I don't believe you, that person didn't do that. You know, this is healing for the broken. There might be somebody that's watching to say, I was at that place, or maybe a mother that said, my child came to me at that, you know, and told me that. What would you say, and just look in the camera and just say, what would you say to that mother that a child has came, or a child who is in that predicament and wanting to tell but feel like they're not going to be believed?
You know, that's a good question, and it's a hard question to answer, because I think I ask myself that a lot. You know, why is it that no one believes that when a child or someone comes forth? Which was going to be one of my dissertation topics, to find out why. And I think a lot of it has to do with denial. They don't want to believe that, because statistics show that a child is more apt to get sexually abused by a close family friend or relative versus a stranger. Mm-hmm. We're more worried about strangers than we're worried about who's around our children all the time. Mm-hmm. And I think it's denial. They don't want to believe that their uncle or their brother or their grandpa or whatever done something to them, especially if that person, it seems to be like a pillar of the family or something. They don't want to believe that it could possibly happen. So I tell parents and people, you know, believe that person. Even if you don't do anything about it, even if you don't press charges, even if you don't do anything, believe that person. You know, believe them. I believe you. What can we do? Let's go to the doctor, see if there's anything physically wrong with you, and then let me try to get you into some type of counseling to deal with that. I think the denial part is what keeps people stuck. They don't want to believe it, you know, or, you know, it's just easier just to sweep it under the rug and act like it didn't happen.
Exactly.
And that's not, you know, you need to believe the people when they tell you that.
Amen. So to all of those parents who are out there, and you might be listening or watching this show, about if your child has came, boy or girl, has came to you and said somebody has done something in the family or outside, please believe them and take the necessary procedures to make sure that that child is okay, and have that assurance that you are protecting them. And to every child that's out there that might be watching, if something like that has happened, please tell someone that you trust. Please tell someone that that will believe you, so that they can help you. Awesome. Thank you so much, Miss Tiffany. We'll be right back, and when we return, Miss Tiffany's going to talk about her returning back to the prisons and her latest visit to the prison. We'll be right back.
Your feet, all my broken pieces, every load that's carried.
Welcome back to Healing for the Broken, where Miss Tiffany Beard is our guest, and she's the author of Accept an Apology That You'll Never Receive. And she's going to actually talk to us more about her latest visit to the prison that she had went to for several years. So talk to us more about that latest visit.
Well, that was emotional. It was like on so many different levels. I mean,
so you telling me you went back to prison?
I went back to voluntarily this time. This one was I volunteered to go back to prison. So, the last time I went to prison was in 2005, and before I get to this point, I went to prison, and it was like when I went, I always had a lawyer, so I never really did a lot of time in prison. I went, like the first time I went, I believe I did like 6 months in prison. I got out, and then the second time I went, I think I did another 6 months and got out. Then the third time was like another 6 or 7 months and got out. So the next time I went to prison, that was a year. And then the time after next was a year. So when I went to prison the last time, the judge, my lawyer was like, you know, we got a 75% chance to beat this in trial. So I was like, all right, that's pretty good odds. I could take them odds to Vegas, win, and everything, right? So the judge said, if you take it to trial and lose, I'm going to start at 10.
Wow.
I'm going to start at 10 years. Then I'm going to give you a year for each prison prior that you have. And then I'm going to give you, then I'm going to enhance you. That's where we're going to start it. He said, so I suggest you take this 5-year deal.
Wow.
So I was like, ooh, that's a lot. Dang, can I go to trial and win? And so then the DA came and said, okay, sign right now. We'll give you 4 years and we'll be done. So I said, okay, I'm going to take the 4 years and be done. So I took the 4 years, ended up doing 2.5. But remember, I have done only like a small time at prison. So this particular time, when that year rolled around, I'm like, my body's saying, okay, it's time to go.
Yeah.
But reality is like, no, you have another 1.5 years to do.
Oh, wow.
So my attitude and everything was like, no, I can't do this. You know, I remember one morning I woke up in prison and I looked at the wall, there was a door and the window, and I was just like, this is just, no. And I had got up to go to chow, and I was in line. I was real frustrated, and my friend said, what's wrong? And I'm like, I got like 18 months, 16 months left in this place. I don't want to. And she's like, girl, I still have 3 years. And then there's a lady behind me that said, I've been here 30 years. And I was like, I don't care about how long you've been here. Stay out of my business, you know.
Wow.
Because I was just feeling this just ugly. So I went back to my room, and I had received 2 letters. I received a letter from a pen pal or whatever, and he's like, hey, you know, I'm 9 years in on a 40-year sentence. And I was like, ooh, Lord. And then I had another letter from one of my friends, and he was like, you know, I've been locked up this year like 15 years. So I was like, ooh. But, you know, that was God just telling me, like, you crying about 18 months left. Look what others have to endure. So I went back later on, I found the lady, and I apologized to her for being rude to her. And she's like, oh, I understand, sweetie. I've been here 30 years. I really understand. Wow. You know, she's like, but let me pray for you. She's like, because I feel like you're going to do great things. You're going to be a leader of some sort, but I don't know.
Amen.
So I didn't know what else to do. I just got on my knees and I cried out to God. And I told him that I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to come back and forth into prison. If you want me to do this life, then just go ahead and give me a life sentence right now. Just let me stay in here. Because I don't want to keep doing this to myself, to my family. I don't want to do this. So I need to do something different. I'm calling you on your word, God. Your word said that faith without works is dead. So I'm going to have the faith and I'm going to work. And I'm going to need you to do your part. And when I left prison November 6, 2006, I had $200. It was my gate money. And I didn't know what I was gonna do. You know, I didn't have no idea. So I did what I said I would never do. Never say never.
Yeah.
I went and got a job working minimum wage, something I said I would never do.
Wow.
And that's where I started. Got a job at a deli, enrolled in school in my AA degree at 40 years old. And since then, 11 years later, and I'm in my doctorate program. 2 years I'll be a doctor.
Wait a minute. Let's pause right there. You telling me a person that has been in and out of prison came out, made a decision. Now that's where the key is making a decision that you'll never return back to the situation that you were in.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you telling me you got out, you said enough is enough. You went and got a job, and then you made another decision to say, you know what, I want to do something with myself. And you're telling me now that you about to get your doctorates.
Yes.
In what?
Forensic psychology.
And forensic psychology. Praise God. That is a blessing.
Yes.
You know, because some people, like a lot of people, I was doing research. I told you on that word. How do you say it?
Recidivism.
Recidivism. And a lot of people like, what is that? That means that is when a person returns back to jail or back to that situation that you were in repeatedly over and over again. You know, a lot of times we call it what is it? You're institutionalized.
Yes.
You know, and that's what a lot of people was like, man, they never come out and stay out. They always go back. That's because they're institutionalized and they are repeating that same pattern. But at the same time, when I looked it up, it says that in the first 3 years, about 25% of the people go back to prison. And in the first 5 years, about a third of the people that get out go back because they have no I guess support when they get out. They have nobody. Their mindsets are like not there. And so that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you, because I have a family member who did time in prison the first time and then did return back, but praise God, he made a decision not to return again. He's doing fine. He has a family, he has a wife, he has I call it inherited babies. He have a son, you know. And so I was thanking God because that particular family member, you know, he's very close to me, and I was like, Lord, I don't want him to be institutionalized. I don't want him to have to continue to go back and return, because you know, when people feel as when they get out of prison. So when I look at people who have been in prison and knowing that this family member and what he had to endure, you know, when he came out, I say, you know, it is not an equal balance when a person come out of prison. So how did you handle that?
It was a struggle. It's not easy by any means. You know, especially if you don't have it. Support is really well. You need support, but if you don't have it, what are you gonna do? You know, you still can't just give up. You have to forge through all of that. That's why you have to lean on God. You know, you have to.
Hit it on the head.
You know, I explained to you the other day how when I had this job, I moved away from the deli job and got a little bit more paying job, and I was just stressed out with just life again, and I took a leave of absence from work. I went, you know, for a mental health break, and they fired my job, fired me, and but they wasn't supposed to, because I had you know, from a doctor had me out, and so I was waiting on unemployment, and that's when California was all messed up. Arnold was the governor, and it was just a mess. And so I was waiting on these checks to come, and it never hit. So when they finally, and I was doing this time, I was homeless. I didn't have no place to stay. I had a friend moved out of her apartment, and she said it's 2 weeks left on here. So I slept on her empty apartment floor for like 2 weeks. And then another friend would say, hey, I got a week left over my apartment, and slept on that floor for another week, and then I went and checked the mail, and I had 5 checks in the mailbox, because God is on time all the time.
Amen.
So my checks were like $9.75 or $9.50, and I remember my rent was like $8.25 a month. So, I didn't have food or whatnot. So they had just opened this Little Caesars Pizza in the neighborhood, and it's like, you come get a pizza, you make it win free pizza. So I had a couple of dollars. I said I could get this pizza, and I could eat the pizza for like a couple of 2-3 days.
Yeah.
And I went to McDonald's. They had the dollar drinks. They had just started
strategizing how you gonna survive.
Yeah. So when I at the pizza a couple of days, there was a sticker at the bottom for a free pizza. So I went back and got my free pizza. I must have got about 5 or 6 free pizzas. And the manager at the store is like, how do you keep getting these free pizzas? I said, he said, that promotion has been over. I said, because God's making sure I eat. Because, I told him that God's making sure I eat. But I was saying to myself, because I told God I was not going to do any more criminal activities. Amen. And you got to call him on his word, because it can't come back void. Faith without works is dead. So I'm working. I'm having faith that you're going to provide, and that's what he did. He made sure that I was eating the pizza. I had pizza. He ain't promised me steak and lobster.
Yeah.
He just said, you're going to be able to eat.
He like, I wrote your nana now. Because a lot of times people's like, well, it ain't the way that I want it to be. But no, he supplied the needs.
Yes, he did.
He said he'll supply all your needs according to his riches and glory through Christ Jesus. So he supplied the need.
He did. And as I was going through that, I had a car. I kind of lived kind of far from the school, so gas was kind of low, and I wasn't able to get to school. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna, drop out of school because this teacher's gonna drop me. But I had this teacher the semester before, and I had an A in his class, and I was in the second semester, and I called one of my classmates. I said, hey, please tell the teacher don't drop me, that I'm having some difficulties, and I just don't know, just please don't drop me. And she said, she called me back. She said, the teacher said, okay, just come when you can come. So then the following week or two, I went, and he was like, I was worried about you because you always in class. I just went through some things, and I'm grateful for him, because if he would have been a teacher that said, I don't care, I'm dropping you, miss too many days, then I probably wouldn't even be in where I'm at right now. I probably wouldn't. And so I went ahead and finished the class. Now, it was a lot of struggles that I went through, just being a felon, trying to find, keeping a job or whatnot. But I had a job, and I just took what jobs came available. If it was available, I'm taking it. If it only paid me $8-9 an hour, then that's where I'm gonna have to start. That don't have to be my ending. That was just my start.
You have to start somewhere.
You have to start somewhere. And the more I worked, I started building up my employment history. Then I'm going to school. I have finished with my AA degree. I have an AA in alcohol and other drug studies. I went on to my bachelor's degree, which I have a bachelor's in applied behavioral science. I went on to my master's degree, which I have a master's in forensic psychology. And now this is my 2.5 years into my doctorate degree. And none of it's been easy. It's been hard. And when I work with my parolees and probationers, they come in my office, they see them degrees on the wall, then they get to telling me how they can't find a job, and they this and they that, and society is out to get them. And I just look at them. When y'all finish talking, you want me to pick out the big violin, the little violin? Which violin? Which you pick out?
Which one?
And they're like, you don't understand because you got this job, and da. So I didn't always have this job. Don't judge my glory, and you don't even know my story.
Say that again.
And then when they find out I've been to prison, they be like, what? One day I had to bring my paperwork to them because they really did not believe me.
Wow.
They did not believe that I had been to prison before.
God allowed you to go through that pit of prison, so that that can be your testimony, so you can relate to other people who are in the system. And so like you say, they didn't even believe because they see all the degrees where your job is, but that's God's hand on your life, and that is the what you had to go through in order for God to get the glory. And so that's leading up to your
just recent. So
you're busy
about when I was last in prison, there was this lady there, and she was real tall, a little bit taller than me, and she was trying out to go to. They have fire camp in California, so we go to fire camp because for every 3 days, for every 1 day you do in prison, they take 3 days off your sentence. So we was gonna go to fire camp, and I was just waiting for them to send my paperwork through. And I seen this lady, and I said, "Oh, she is, a tall, nice sized lady like me. If she can do it, I know I can."
Yeah.
So then, like about a week later, I see her, and she's on crutches. So I'm like, "Hi, you my hope." She's like, "I hurt my ankle, da 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 da." So we was talking, real nice lady, and she told me she was, she was Muslim. And I said, "Okay, what does that mean?" She's like, "Well, people kind of shy away." I was like, "You a person just like anybody else." So she's like, "Hey, if you come over to the chapel on Sundays, we watch movies and whatnot." So I went to the chapel and met the Muslim chaplain and some other Muslim ladies, and they were really lovely ladies, and we would talk about just life in general and everything. And they would, do their prayers and whatnot, and I would read my Bible, and then we would talk about the Bible, and we would talk about the Quran. They didn't try to convert me. I didn't try to convert. The Muslim chaplain explained that she used to be Baptist, but she felt like, being a Muslim was where she needed to be. And we were all right with that. From one of the dedications in my book is to them, because it wasn't about the differences that we had. It was about the similarities that we all shared. Being number one, women in a women's prison, dealing with the same struggles. It didn't have anything to do with religious beliefs or anything. It was just women on the common ground, and that's what we looked at and embraced, and we cried together and everything together. So moving forward, that young lady as well is in her doctorate degree as well. Moving forward, the chaplain found me on Facebook a few years ago, and we became Facebook friends. And then not so long ago, she said, I'm watching you on Facebook, and I'm just seeing the way God is just working in your life. And she had left the prison for a while, and then she's back. She's like, "I'm back, and I would just love to have you come." I said, "Okay, well, just let me know when you need me to come." Well, that's a trip I'm gonna make. And I said, "I don't know how I'm gonna get there or how, but it's gonna happen." So the warden, I had to fill out all the stuff and everything, and they finally gave the approval. And I flew out to California a couple of weeks ago, and I went to the prison, and I came in through the front door. So when I got to the prison, and they checked me in and everything, and the chaplain didn't come get me. She sent another chaplain to come get me. So when I walked in the room with all the ladies, everybody was clapping. Now this is the prison in California. It holds 4,000 women.
Wow.
They only had 120 at this particular event. So when I walked in the room, everybody started, clapping. And I'm like, okay. And then when I walked up to the podium, I had to compose myself. I turned my back. I said, "Y'all need to give me a moment," And I turned my back, and I'm looking out across the yard where I used to walk this yard, and I'm like, wow. So when I turned around, I said, "You guys have to really excuse me." I said, "I just came in through the front door." I said, "The last 2 times that I came to this prison, I came through the back gate, shackled at my feet, shackled at my waist, being ushered into the receiving and being fingerprinted, pictures taken, take off your clothes, and body search and cavity search, and here go bed roll and go to your unit, and and now I came through the front. The COs is, "Hey, how you doing?" smiling at me. No, be mean like you was 11 years ago, But I said, that's what happens when you do things different, I said, "I'm not here to." I said, "This visit is more for me than it is for you." Because they let me know that there's nothing I can't do with God. God did this. This is not even me. This is God. Because if I left myself to Tiffiny, I'd still be in the pit or the prison. Wow. So the women there were like really, really encouraging. They encouraged me even more. They was like, I'm giving them hope that they can get out and do the right thing, and they can, be a better parent or a better person. They like, I just gave them hope. I'm like, y'all giving me hope, and just to be able to be in you guys' presence, just to be able to be here, just to let you guys know that, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. God's the same God, the same one to save Daniel, the same one to save him today. So that was a really emotional emotional visit because I never thought that I would be there, at, you know, giving back to them and letting them know that, hey, I used to be an inmate here on several occasions. Now the funny thing about it is, after the event was over,
Yes.
we went back to the chaplain's office. So one of the ladies came in. She's like, "Chaplain, you don't hear the siren?" And she was like, "Yeah." She's like, "They're calling us back, everybody back to their unit. We don't know what's going on." So the ladies left, went back to their units, and then the ladies, you know, she escorted me out on my ride. So later on, she emailed me, and she said one of the ladies said the reason why they called the unit is because your old W number came up, and they was trying to figure out where is this inmate at.
So your old number came
I guess
up
when they put my name in the
system,
it popped up. They was trying to figure out, where is this lady at, you know. So
like, oh no, we're not returning back.
No, not even. So it was very emotional. I'm so glad that God did that, you know. And you know, when one of the ladies stood up and she said, "I remember you," and she took off this hat and she had some real pretty gray hair.
Wow.
And she's, "I've been here 30-something years."
Wow.
It's like, "I remember you when you was here." And I said, "Was I mean to you?" Sign it. And then someone else said that someone had sent them the book. And I was like, wow. And then the young lady said, "Yeah," because I brought the chaplain like 5. And she's like, "Yeah, y'all need to bring my books back up here." So she's like, "We want a book." So I had an Oprah moment. I'm like, "Okay, you get a book, you get a book, you get a book." And then later on, I was like,
High esteem, standing in the gap and praying for you without season. NDTV is God's plan to transform lives and help people to get their freedom from every form of oppression, walk in victory, discover their original destiny and the plan of God for them. Together, we can do far more than any of us could ever do alone. Become a partner today by visiting www.ndtvn.com/partnership.
and people came and bought books, and then I told them they donated some money, and then last week the chaplain sent me the official letter from the warden saying that she was granting that I can send the books in.
Amen.
So I just went to Facebook and my friends, and I was like, "Hey, I want these books for these ladies, and I appreciate it if you guys can donate. No amount is too big or no amount is too small, and I'll be greatly appreciated." You know, I greatly appreciate it. And, you know, my family and friends been coming through, ladies.
Glory be to God. We pray that more resources come in so that you can bless more people with your book. And I'm excited. And oh my goodness, I'm overjoyed. I'm just listening and I'm just tuning in, and I can just see God all over you. And the presence of Him is just here. And I just thank God that my husband introduced us. Yeah. And I'm so happy that I got a chance to hear your story and listen to your story. And I'm about to, after these messages, we're going to come back, and I want you to talk to the people, and I want you to give them what God has given you to say to them. Okay? We'll be right back after these messages.
If this network has been a blessing to you, why not follow us on Facebook and Instagram at NDTV Network? Subscribe to our YouTube channel New Dimension TV. Or watch us live at www.ndtvn.com. For partnership, prayers, and sponsorship, call 833-777-NDTV. Email info@ndtvn.com. NDTV. Bearing fruits everywhere, changing lives.
Welcome to Healing for the Broken, and I am here with Miss Tiffany Beard, and she's gonna give us just whatever God has for you. Someone who might be listen to your story and just want to know, how do I get out of this pit? If they're in their own different pit, what would you say to them?
For me, I just have to lean on God. And don't get me wrong, like I told you the other day, I still get discouraged, I still get upset, I still get sad. I get in moments where I get depressed about life or whatnot. But when you are trying to do the right thing or trying to live by God, you surround yourself with people that are encouraging. My daughter would tell me, "Mom, no, stop." My son told me last week or so, like, "Mom, stop. Now we ain't doing that today." Yeah. And then I have friends that'll be like, "Okay, we're gonna listen to you. Why? Now what you gonna do?"
Don't even fall back.
We're gonna let you have your moment, but what are you gonna do? So I pray. I try to, one thing I put in my book about self-care. Self-care, and one of those things that come with self-care is the service to others. And service to others is not always about necessarily giving financial or giving whatever. It could be just as simple as I hold the door open for you, or I say hi, good morning, how are you? One time I put some money in a what's the red box with $5 in there, and I put snacks on me, for the person. And I've been to McDonald's, and I haven't paid for the car behind me or whatnot. Or, like I was just saying, I was in a bad space even after I had to visit after prison, because I had a lot of things going on. I'm like, okay, I need money to finish paying for school. I need this and that. Yeah. And I was, just in a depressed mode about some things. And God, when I got the letter from the warden saying it's a go with the books, it just lifted my whole spirit, because now my thing wasn't concentrating on making me happy. I was concentrating on trying to make somebody else smile, because I know the book is how you may not think, but just being in prison and locked up and somebody just give you something, that means a lot. Me and my daughter was like, the shipping, Mom, because the books to get shipped to me is going to cost a few dollars, and then for me to ship them to the prison. So she's like, why don't you just have them shipped to the prison? You cut out that out. And I was like, I could. Just like, no. Because what I want to do is I want to sign each book. I want to sign each book, so whoever receives that book, that message is going to be for them. Exactly. I want to give them that hope, because everybody needs that hope. Something I'm hoping that that when I get out, the things will be different. So for people that's struggling, I just tell them, you got to have a higher power. You have to have a higher power to get you through when nothing else can. And then you have to walk in what you want. If you don't want to go back to prison, I have this argument a lot of times with people, well, society this and society that. Well, okay, just because society say it, don't mean it has to be true. Society said that I would never be nothing, that I would always be in and out of prison, but God said, no, you're not. And when He's ready, He's going to make, when you're ready, because He's been ready, so when you're ready, then He's going to make those things happen. So whatever you're dealing with, sit down and write it down. Take a look at it. What can I do to change this? What do I need to changes I need to make in my life to get this out and put this in? And am I willing to work for it? Yes. Am I going to sit back and just wait? It's not going to happen. I have to go, go for it. And like I said, call God on His word. Amen. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, then you call Him on His word, because He say His word can't go back void. Not at all. And I think I'm a living example of that. People just don't believe when I tell them, yes, I've been to prison 5 times, not county jail, not state jail. I've been to an actual prison, and now I'm going to be a doctor in a couple of years.
Well, you have inspired me on today, and I do say on today that I am so proud of you. Thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for just being that motivator, that uplifter for those people who are watching, who might say, man, she did it, so can I. Yes. And so I appreciate you. How can someone contact you or find out about the book, Accept an Apology That You Would Never Receive?
You can find the book on Amazon. I just put it also on Amazon, Kindle. You can email me at counselorsthatcare.com. I have a website as well as Counselors That Care, Metamorphosis Counseling Services as well. The book is, I got a lot of great feedback out of the book. It's also a workbook, so when you read, you have work to do. It's not, you just don't get to read, you get to work too. You have to start the healing process somewhere.
Amen.
Yes.
And how do you spell your name?
My name is spelled, my mom made me special, so my name is spelled Tiffiny. It's not the normal spelling of Tiffany. And Beard, Deard.
Amen. Well, you heard it from Miss Tiffany Beard yourself on today's show, Healing for the Broken. I'm excited. I'm ready to, she gave me my copy, so I'm excited and ready to do my workbook and read and just say, Lord, I thank you for allowing me to come out of my pits and also others to come out of theirs. And also the way to knowing that God loves you is just accepting Him. And a lot of times people don't know how to accept Him. Well, read Romans 10:9-10. Just confess with your mouth, believe in your heart, Jesus died and rose again, you shall be saved. So let's start there first and allow God to come into your life, to change your heart, to change your mind, to change your will, your emotions, all of those different things, and everything else will be added unto you. Again, you can find us on www.ndtvn.com and also on YouTube at New Dimensions TV. God bless you all. Thank you for watching Healing for the Broken. I am your host, Candace Blanks. Have a blessed day.
Your feet, all my broken pieces, every load that's carried at your feet, all my broken pieces, every load that's carried.
My name is Candace Blanks. And I'm talking to those people who have been afflicted, abused, rejected, feeling unloved, or just simply gone through life and don't have a way out. Or maybe you have been diagnosed with an illness. Well, I'm here to tell you that God is here for us, and He is healing the broken. So please tune in to Healing for the Broken as various people tell and share their heart and testimony.
All I can, laying at your feet, all my broken pieces.
How will you feel when you know that someone is praying and interceding for you every day? That is how we hold our partners with high esteem, standing in the gap and praying for you without season. NDTV is God's plan to transform lives and help people to get their freedom from every form of oppression, walk in victory, discover their original destiny and the plan of God for them. Together, we can do far more than any of us could ever do alone. Become a partner today by visiting www.ndtvn.com/partnership, and you will be glad you did.
If this network has been a blessing to you, why not follow us on Facebook and Instagram at NDTV Network? Subscribe to our YouTube channel New Dimension TV. Or watch us live at www.ndtvn.com. For partnership, prayers, and sponsorship, call 833-777-NDTV. Email info@ndtvn.com. NDTV. Bearing fruits everywhere, changing lives.
Bye.